Instagram influencer, 22, claims learning about World War II would hit millennials' mental health. God damn it. Freddie Bentley is a British reality television celebrity. Yeah. Who is mainly known for his appearance on the reality game show The Circle and for his Instagram feed. He has recently come under fire online after appearing on the TV show Good Morning Britain and arguing an unpopular opinion. In a piece on GMB, Bentley states that children should not have to learn about World War II. In his opinion, too much time is spent on the subject. He is concerned that the emphasis on the destruction and killing of war is too much for young minds. I don't want anyone to think I'm being disrespectful, the 22-year-old celebrity said. He added, I remember learning as a child thinking, oh my God, it's so intense. Yeah, it's the entire world at war, so it should be, right? Should be kind of intense, I think. You know, I don't know. I mean, there's that famous quote, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Then again, I've always kind of made fun of that quote, saying that those who do know history are doomed to watch the idiots around them repeat it. But at least then you can kind of laugh, like, haha, we're fucking making the same mistakes again. Gotta love humanity, right? So I don't know. Let's see. People on Twitter, of course, did think he was being extremely disrespectful. Many pointed out the number of young men who were killed fighting in that war, so people like Bentley could have the freedom to become whatever they wanted. Others pointed out that learning about war was necessary in order to prevent another one in the future. Well, I don't know. We here in America, we learn a lot about World War II and all these wars that we've had as well. And it seems like it hasn't dissuaded us much. Doesn't seem like we've really done a great job of avoiding conflicts, considering we're still in Iraq. We're still in Afghanistan after fucking, 19 years, 18 years, something like that? You know, George Carlin pointed out in a special in the 80s that we've basically been at war once every 20 years if you average it out, and probably the number's gone up since then, depending on what you count as a fucking war. So it doesn't seem like, learning about World War II has really stopped us. But then again, the way we learn about World War II is basically like, all right, so there was this evil dude named Hitler, and he was fucking shit up, so we went over there and we kicked his fucking ass, eh? America, bitch! I don't know. Many on Twitter pointed out Bentley's age and how he seems to fit the stereotype of millennial entitlement. Bentley suggested that schools should avoid potentially furthering any mental health issues children may face by forcing them to confront the realities of war at a young age. He recommended spending less time teaching the history of wars and more time explaining Brexit or helping children learn personal finance. I mean, I think that, it makes sense to teach kids personal finance. I certainly wish that when I was in school, I'd learned things like, here's what an interest rate is, Here's how to be responsible with a credit card. Maybe that would be useful curriculum, but I don't think you have to, all right, let's get rid of all the World War II stuff so we could teach you about more practical matters like finance. I kind of think World War II might be important. I kind of think that maybe it's like relevant to learn about that one time. Well, actually, the second time that the entire world was thrown into war and like millions upon millions of people died and shit, might be something, that you should learn about. Especially when it comes to stuff like the rise of the Nazis. I mean, like, there's a reason, like, people make fun of the Godwin's Law thing, but there's a reason that every time, someone starts to act a little bit like a fucking fascist prick in this country, we compare them to the Nazis. And I know that this is Britain, but it's basically the same fucking country. Basically America Junior at this point. I know, we fucking came off of you and all that, but whatever, you're America Junior. Just accept it. Let's keep reading. Most online commentators seem to agree that schools could teach additional subjects, but rejected his suggestion that these new subjects come at the expense of World War II. That's my point, too. Bentley's comments occurred during a segment on Good Morning Britain, in which he debated the question of whether students should be taught about World War II. The segment followed an episode of the British version of The Apprentice television show. In the episode, one of the teams had difficulty with an assigned task because none of them were familiar with when World War II began. Many people took to social media after the episode to decry the state of the British education system. I mean, people get so preoccupied with this year shit. Like, I think as long as you know World War II took place around about the 30s and 40s, you're all right. You know? I mean, you don't really need to know the specific date that it happened as long as you have a general idea about the facts of the case. Anyway, because not everyone's good with dates. I'm not good with dates. The other day I was doing a show and I didn't even remember how old I was. 34, by the way. People were like, oh, TJ was so drunk he couldn't even remember his age. It's like, no, that's normal. I don't have to be drunk to struggle to remember. Am I 33? Am I 34? Am I 35? I don't know. So I can't even remember fucking my own age, let alone what year exactly World War II kicked off. But, you know, I think people should learn the basics of, like, here's Hitler. Here's how Hitler came to power. Here's what he did with that power. Here's how much the world had to go through to stop him. You know, if you can, like, I think teaching those basic things is probably a good idea. You know, so that, you know, when stuff like that starts to happen and there's parallels, we can be like, hey, it seems things are getting a little Hitler-y again. Maybe we ought to back off of this. Maybe we ought to change course a little bit, because I don't think we want to go through that whole Hitler thing again. You know? It seems reasonable to me. And I know a lot of people, like I said, they get frustrated with the whole Godwin's Law, Godwin's Law. I think there's a pretty strong impetus for us to be hyper-vigilant about let's not go down that Nazi path again. I think it's probably a good thing that people are ultra-sensitive about not being like the Nazis. There's a good reason why we should work hard to avoid that. And I think if you stop teaching that to people, there's less of an impetus to be like, it's almost like, hey, we didn't bother teaching about World War II, so when someone says, hey, this is like the Nazis, people are like, so what? What's wrong with that? Bentley came to fame as a contestant on a reality game show, The Circle. Contestants on that show lived each in their own apartment. Their only contact with the other contestants and with the outside world was through a specially made social network app known as The Circle. I don't care. I'm not reading an advertisement for the fucking Circle. Anyway, this is a stupid idea. This is a stupid guy. If you like what you just saw, subscribe to my channel. It is law. Also, check out my podcast, or Satan will rise and rape your ass. Also, my mom's dog is sick, so contribute to her GoFundMe, you stupid prick. That's all.